Good morning. I want to welcome everyone to our Give Backs workshop. Today, we are going to be talking about officer transition and how to prepare your Give Back site for the new school year. My name is Carol. I'm a member of the customer support team here at Give Backs, and I'll be taking you through this workshop. A couple of housekeeping items. This workshop is being recorded, and later today you'll receive an email with a link to the recording in case you want to listen to it again. And also, I'm happy to answer questions as we go through the workshop. Feel free to put your questions in the questions box. I'll do my best to answer them as we go along, but I'll also leave plenty of time at the end to catch up on any questions I missed or answer any additional questions. All right, so let's get started. So today we want to make sure that you know how to add your new officers. We'll take a few moments to review your list of admins, make sure you know how to remove admins, add new admins. We'll also talk about updating your notifications. And then we're going to spend a good bit of time talking about Stripe and changing your Stripe owner. Then we're going to make sure that you know how to get all of your members entered into your system, pay your state dues if you are a PTA, and then we'll finish up by talking about contacts and cleaning up your contacts and talking about hubs as a part of that. All right, so for most of this workshop, I'm going to use a live demo site so I can move around. You can see exactly how to maneuver around the system, and then if you've got questions, I can jump around. This workshop is geared more towards outgoing officers, but if you are a new officer, that's great too, because sometimes our outgoing officers just kind of dump everything in our lap and say good luck. So um, this will still be very helpful for you in getting your site ready. If you are a new officer, I also encourage you to attend our Welcome to Givebacks workshop, because that will give you a good high-level overview of all the tools that you have available to you in Givebacks. All right, so first let's talk about adding new officers. So this is going to apply to organizations that are PTAs where your state PTA has a partnership with Givebacks. So you're going to have this compliance section. If that doesn't apply to you, just hang on like 2 minutes and everything else will apply to you guys. So we're going to open up the compliance section and we're going to go to update officers. The first thing you'll want to do is use this drop-down box to change the year to the next school year, so the 24-25 school year. And then you're going to click on this Add Officer button, and you can start entering your new officers. So I'll do my treasurer. So I choose that role, double check, make sure you're in the right year, and then I can start adding that person. Now, if they're already listed as a contact, then you can just start typing their name and a suggestion will show up. And if that's the correct email address, you can just click on that. Otherwise, just type in the email address and the name. Now, there is a switch right here. If it's left on, then this person will automatically be added as an admin. If you don't want them to be added as an admin, you can turn that off, but this is the easiest way to add someone as an officer and an admin all in one step. You can always go to the admin settings and add someone later also. You have the option to notify someone that they're being added by email, and you can even add a personal message. All right, and then you click save. And now Joe is added as my treasurer. And you can just keep going, click the add officer button, keep adding all your other officers. If you've made some sort of mistake, maybe there's a typo or you put this person as the wrong officer, no problem. Just click on the entry. This box will pop up, click remove and confirm it, and it'll just remove that officer and you can re-enter them. So since we were talking about admins, let's jump to that. Click on settings, and That will open up this menu and click on admin roles. This is a great time of year to review your list of admins, get it updated. Often we'll, year after year, add new admins to our site, and we forget to remove officers that are no longer going to be around. So let's start with removing people first. So if there's someone who doesn't need to be an admin anymore, then just click on their entry. This box will pop up on the right, and then you can click delete, and that will remove them from your site. This page does require a refresh, so just refresh the page and then you'll see those updates. To add someone as an admin, you just click on this new admin button, add the person's name and email address. You can choose to notify them by email, and you also need to select what type of admin permissions you're going to give this person. If you choose admin, then that's going to give them full admin access, so they have access to all the tools. If you want to customize that and limit the access that this admin's going to have, then click on custom, and then you can choose which areas you want them to have access to. You can, if you want them to have access to a particular section, then you can choose between view access or edit access. And then click create, and that person will be added as an admin. One thing I do encourage you to do is maybe sort by email address, and you're going to want to make sure that you don't have people listed with admin access and custom access. You just want one of those, so delete the other one, the one that you don't want. Otherwise, when they go to log in and get to that welcome screen where there's a list where you choose which organization you want to sign into, it'll list the organization twice, one for each admin role. And if they click on the custom role, which they won't know which one it is, then they might get in there and not have the tools they're looking for. So just make sure people are only listed once on here. If you have someone listed as an owner, it doesn't matter. That one's fine. You don't need to have anybody listed as an owner here, but if you do, that's fine too, or you can remove it. All right. Just a reminder, if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the questions box. All right, let's stay here in the settings and go to notifications. There are two types of notifications that can be sent through givebacks. One is called the orders notification. So if you set someone up with that type of notification, they'll get an email every time someone places a new order in your store. That one's great for like slow times of the year or anytime you don't want to have to be constantly checking to see if people have placed orders. So that can be really helpful. Totally optional as to whether you set someone up with that notification type. The other type of notification is called Contact Us. We highly encourage you to select at least one person to receive the Contact Us notification. I'm going to open up the store real quick to show you when you would get a notification for Contact Us. In your store at the bottom of the toolbar is this link that says Contact Store Admin. And if somebody clicks on this, this is how they can ask you a question. It's usually about their orders. Sometimes it's about something else. But we believe it's really important to respond to those notifications. So if you don't have anyone with the Contact Us notification, then those types of notifications are going to go to all of your admins. So everyone on your admin list will get that notification. So if you don't want that to happen, narrow it down by choosing one or more people to receive the Contact Us notification. All right. All right, great. And I did get a question, and yes, we are going to talk about Stripe, and we're going to talk about it right now. So if you are selling items in your store or using any of the fundraising tools to take donations, then you have to have a Stripe account set up through GiveBacks. Stripe is the vendor we use to process all those credit card transactions. You have to set up a Stripe account, and in that process, two important things happen. One is you connect your bank account to your Stripe account, and then Stripe automatically transfers the funds from your Stripe account to your bank account every Friday. The other important thing to know is whoever created your Stripe account became the owner of the Stripe account. They could have assigned other people to also have access to the Stripe account, but we find that usually it's just the owner. So it's critical that in your officer transition process that you have that officer transfer the ownership of the Stripe account to the new officer. And we're going to talk about how to do that. If you start the process and you realize that the person who owns the Stripe account is a past officer that you can't work with anymore, like you don't have contact with them, they're not there anymore, then you can reach out to us. Or I'm also going to mention that we have a help article that has all the steps on how to transfer ownership, and it has the instructions on how to do it the normal way that I'm going to walk through in just a minute, but it does also have instructions on how to contact Stripe support and send them a letter to say you can't work with the previous officer. This is the person we now want to be the owner. But you're welcome to reach out to our support team. We can look at your individual situation and help you through that process. If you want to set up a one-on-one Zoom meeting with us to help you through the process, you can use this QR code, and I'll show it again later. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the steps of how you change the ownership. The help article has all of this written out step by step with screenshots, but I think it's helpful for you to see it once, and then when you're going through the steps, it'll make a little bit more sense. So I am going to assume that you are the one who has access to the Stripe account. So you're going to go to the financial management section and you're going to click on Stripe settings. The email address that's listed here for your Stripe account is usually the person who is the owner of the account. So that'll be your first clue as to whether you have access to it or not. If it's an generic officer email address, like say the treasurer address, and that email address gets passed down, it doesn't mean you actually have access to it if you weren't the one who created the account, because in the logging in process, it's going to ask you to verify who you are with things like your birth date. And if those don't match, then you're not going to be able to get into your Stripe account, even though the email address is one you have access to. It's still always tied to a person. All right, so this is my account. I am the owner. I'm going to click the three dots and I'm going to click View Express Dashboard. What's going to happen next is I'm going to get the screen where it's asking me to enter the verification code that was sent to my phone number. On your screen, it will show 2 digits at the end, and those are the last 2 digits of the phone number that is being sent the verification code. So hopefully that is your phone number. Then you type in the verification code and you're going to land on your Stripe dashboard. You're going to click the profile icon and you're going to scroll down to platform settings. Some of you might see the word professional settings instead of platform settings. Same thing. Click where it says GiveBacks. And you're going to get a window actually on the side of the screen, which has this information. And you're going to scroll down and you're going to go to this team members section. And what you're going to do is you're going to be adding the new person, the new officer as a team member, and then the next step we're going to go over is removing yourself from the account. So you're going to scroll to the team members section, click where it says, what does it say? Invite and remove. And then you're going to get this box that gives you a place to enter the email address of that new team member. So you enter the email address, click invite. That team member is going to get an email from Stripe, and we'll talk about what they'll do with that in just a second. So you've invited the new team member. Now you need to go and remove yourself. So in this box, you're going to go to the management and ownership section and click the pencil icon. And there are 2 steps. It's important you do both of these steps and you do them in this order. There's a line right here that says remove as account rep. Click that, click submit. There's a confirmation button, and then you'll come back to this screen. You'll click remove person, submit, confirm. So you need to do both of those steps in order to remove yourself. And then you're done as the outgoing officer. The incoming officer has received that invitation to join Stripe. They need to open that up. They've got 7 days to open this email and to enter their information. So click the accept button. They'll be given this box that asks for their phone number. So they'll enter their phone number, click next. Now they land on the dashboard. It may at the top say information needed, and you can go straight to that section, or click the profile icon, scroll down to the platform settings, and there'll be a red box that says information needed. You click here, and then this person will go to the management and ownership section. It'll actually be red, so it'll be very clear that they need to go there. If not, click the pencil icon. And they will then enter their personal information. Now, I like to show you what's going to be asked, so you can kind of warn the new officer that they're going to have to provide some personal information. That includes their date of birth, their home address, their phone number, and the last 4 digits of the Social Security number. So they've got to click this replace button and enter the last 4 digits of their Social Security number. The reason they have to do this is Stripe is setting up a financial account, and they are required by federal regulation to meet guidelines called Know Your Customer. And they have to verify that anybody who is set up with access to a financial account is a real person. And so that's why they need to know this personal information to verify you're a real person. They will not run a credit check, and Givebacks does not have access to any of this information. It is just between you and Stripe. And when this person leaves office and transfers the account to the next officer, their information comes out when the new person's information goes in. All right. So they'll enter all of this and click submit, and then they're done. If you run into any problems along the way, then just reach out to Giveback support. We are happy to help you through any issues. And we might have to send you to Stripe support, but we're going to walk along the path with you and help you out. All right, here's the QR code again if you need some additional help. All right, so jumping back over, let's go talk about memberships. So we're going to go to the membership section, and let's go to manage members. Now, the easiest way to sell your memberships is to have them for sale in your online store. People buy them. This page, which is a list of your memberships, is automatically populated from those purchases, and it's easier for you. You're not dealing with cash or check. However, we know that sometimes people do need to pay you a different way, and that's fine if they need to. You just need to make sure that you have entered all of those memberships that were purchased outside of Giveback, so you have a complete list of memberships and that you're paying your state dues for everyone. So if you need to add someone, just come to this page, click Add Cash check member and enter the information for that member. They'll be added to the list, and it'll, for the type, it'll say cash. If someone purchased through the store, it would say store purchase. Now, if you are a PTA with that state PTA relationship, you're able to remit your state dues. So I'm going still under the membership section. I'm going to click on remit state dues, and you'll want to make sure you've paid all your dues by the end of the school year. If this banner is yellow, it means you still owe money to your state PTA. It'll tell you exactly how much you owe and for how many members. Only the president and the treasurer can pay the state dues, and they're the only ones that will have the send ACH payment button. They have to be logged in with the same email address that is listed on that update officers list that we looked at the very beginning. So they come in, click the send ACH payment button. This box will either ask you to fill in all your organization's bank account information, or if it's already been saved, it'll give you a smaller box that'll just ask you to confirm the banking information. So please take a second to actually make sure that is up to date. And then when you're ready, you click Save Banking Details, and that payment is automatically sent to your state PTA, and there'll be a listing of that payment here on this page. Just a reminder, there is a $2 transaction fee for each ACH payment. So I do recommend that you pay for as many memberships all at once, just to save yourself a little bit of money. All right, any questions? All right, let's move on to contacts. And what do we do with our contacts when we come to the end of the school year and want to prepare for the next year? First, let's talk about hubs. So I'm going to go to Manage Hubs and Hub Contacts. And just in case you've never used hubs, hubs are just groups that you can set up. You could also think of them as list or distribution list, because they're very handy for sending out communications just to select groups of people instead of always having to send your communications to everyone. So if you have set up hubs, and you can have just standalone hubs or you can have hubs inside of hubs, you're going to want to decide at the end of the year what to do with these hubs. You could choose to just archive the hub. So you can click the 3 dots next to a hub and choose archive. Or if you want to do a bunch at one time, you can use the check boxes and choose the archive button. If you want to keep the hubs but remove the people from them, then you can do that too. So I'm going to just click on my 3rd grade hub here. Go to the 3 dots next to your hub and click on Hub Contacts. So this shows you who all the contacts are. You could choose one by one to remove people from the hub, or you can use the check boxes to select who you want to remove. And you've got some choices here. So you're going to go to the Actions button and you're going to choose Remove from Hub. And here are your 3 choices. First, you can remove people from this hub, but keep them as an organization contact. So that means they'll stay in your main list of contacts. You're just removing them from this hub. The second option is to remove them from this hub, but add them to a different hub. So this hub, in my example, is a 3rd grade hub. I might want to move all the people in this hub up to the 4th grade hub. So if I had a 4th grade hub, then I could click on Select Hub, choose the 4th grade hub. I actually don't have a 4th grade hub, but you just select the hub that you want to move them to. And this is a great way to like graduate people up to different hubs. The third choice is you can remove people from this hub and from the organization too. That means they will not be listed anywhere in your site as a contact. In an ideal world, I'll use the scenario of like you're in elementary school and 5th grade is your last grade. be great to just take everybody who was in the 5th grade and just remove them from your organization as a whole. The tricky part with that is you've got parents that might have a 5th grader, but they also might have kids in younger grades. So this would not be the option that you would want because it would completely remove them from your organization. And then they wouldn't be in those other hubs either. But if you have a scenario where this is helpful, just wanted you to see that that is a choice. So you've got 3 different ways to clean up your hubs and remove people from your hubs. All right, now let's talk about your main list of contacts. So I'm going to contacts, manage contacts. This is your entire database of contacts. I get questions about, should we just delete everybody and start over, or are there other things you suggest? Um, I I don't love deleting everybody and starting over. And the main reason is I know it takes a long time to build a good list of contacts. And for a school year, I mean, that could take you 2, 3 months to get everybody added back to your site. So I don't like that idea unless you're in a situation where you're provided a list of all of the people in your organization. So if you're a school organization and the school office is going to share a list of all the parents, then that would be possibly a good reason to start fresh every year. So you've got to decide for your organization which is best for you. If you do remove everybody, you'll have to do it one page at a time, but you can select everybody on the page. Please, please do not delete yourself and do not delete your other admins. But most importantly, don't delete yourself because then you won't have access and you'd have to go to your state PTA to get re-added if you're a PTA, or you'd have to come to give backs if you're not a PTA, and you'd have to show us proof that you really are the the person who should be an admin. So let's avoid having to do either one of those and just make sure you don't delete yourself or all your admins. But you could select the whole page, go to actions, remove from organization, and you could do that for each page if you did want to remove everyone. If you don't want to remove everyone, my suggestion is as you're finishing the school year, send out in your one of your communications a message that says, if you're leaving and won't be returning next year and want to be removed from um, any communication, please let us know, give them a way to contact you. And as they respond and say, please remove me, just come in, search for that person, and then when you find them, click the 3 dots, choose remove from organization. You can also do this at the beginning of the school year, just as a reminder. It's just kind of a nice thing to do to say, um, if you're no longer part of our organization, don't want to receive any more emails, just let us know. And you can clean up that way. People do have the option to unsubscribe from your messages. If they do that on an email, then they'll still stay a contact in your site, but they won't be sent emails anymore. They can unsubscribe from newsletters, but that's a little tricky because that is done by campaign. So if you're grouping your newsletters in campaigns and they unsubscribe from one campaign, but then you start another campaign, they're not unsubscribed from that one. So in those cases, it really is better to try to get them to let you know they want to be removed. If people have asked to be unsubscribed from email, while you won't necessarily know it because they'll still be in your contact list, I would recommend periodically just doing an export of all your contacts. And when you do the export, there's a column for each field that's in somebody's profile. And one of those columns says unsubscribe, and it'll either say true or false. And if it says true, then that means they have asked to unsubscribe. So you could use that as a guide of people who that you could remove from your list of contacts to clean it up. So I really feel like people are going to let you know, or they won't care whether they're continuing to hear from you. Um, those are my best suggestions for cleaning those up. All right. So that is the main, those are the main things that I wanted to share. Just a couple of reminders. Some of us are ending school about now. Some of us still have several weeks to go. You might still be running spring fundraisers or maybe doing teacher appreciation gifts or year-end gifts. Remember, you've got the fundraising tools, you've got your online store. Both of those are great for collecting those kind of funds. You might still be doing some fundraisers like a year-end carnival, movie night, things like that. Um, it's very quick to set up a fundraiser through the fundraising tools. So you don't have to wait till next year. You can go ahead and give it a try and reach out to our support team if you need any help. And it's never too early to start planning for next year's fundraiser. So if you find yourself with a little extra time over the summer and need some help, um, just let us know. And also with the Shop to Give program, make another push to increase the number of backers because people are going to be shopping all summer. They'll be doing back to school shopping when it gets to the end of the summer, and you don't want to miss out on those opportunities for that passive fundraising income. And remember to reach out to your new families that are joining because they're always really eager to start helping. So you want to go ahead and get them to sign up. And if you need more information about the Shop to Give program, you can find that by going to the Shop to Give tool in your GiveBacks toolbar. And that's just the program where you get people to sign up to be a backer for your organization. And when they shop at over 25,000 merchants and restaurants, your organization gets a percentage of what they spend. It doesn't cost the backer anything. All the donations come from the merchant or funded by the merchant. And then as outgoing officers, encourage your new officers to attend other give back training workshops. Later this summer, usually like late July, we'll start running our back to school series of workshops where we'll have individual workshops that will dig into different tools um, in Give Back. So like there's one specifically for treasurers, one about memberships, there's one about creating newsletters and websites. So encourage them to do that. Also, you can access our help center where we have help articles, where you can sign up for these workshops, where you can see little short videos that are 5 minutes or less on how to do certain things in Give Backs. And as a favor to your incoming officers, you might want to go ahead and update your membership items, especially if you've changed the price on your dues. Update your online store, close or turn off any products you're not selling anymore, update the inventory number, and then feel free to reach out to us if you need any help. On the right-hand side are a whole bunch of ways that you can get in touch with our support team and get to our help center. So if you go to support.givebacks.com or use this the big question mark that's in the bottom of every screen, you can access our full help center. So I think I have at least one more question. Feel free to add questions to the questions box. I'll be happy to stay on and answer questions. But if you need to go, I thank you for joining us. So let's see, the question is, how are people identifying which grade contacts are associated with? Can it be collected when memberships are purchased in the store? Yes, that is an excellent way to capture that information. And I'll go over to, let's see, I'm gonna go to my store and let me see if I have this set up in my membership. I do not, but I have it set up in a different product. So in my product for this t-shirt, I added some additional fields. One was called student name and one was homeroom teacher. This is just an example of how you can create additional fields. So what I would suggest, I'm going to go down to memberships, manage membership items, and I'm going to go to my parent guardian membership. I'm going to click the three dots, edit membership. And when you scroll down to the additional fields section, if you open that up, you can add any additional fields that you want to. Um, if you want the field to be part of the contact's record, a part of their profile, something you can filter on in the future, which will help you to put people into different hubs, then you're going to want that to be a contact property. If you click Add Contact Property, it'll show you the fields that you've already set up as contact properties. So try that first. And if you already have one of those fields, just add that. Um, if you don't have the contact property that you want, then click on Add Custom Option and you'll create that field. You can add all different kinds of field types, text field, a select, which is a drop down, multi-select, and click Add Property to Contact, because that means that you're going to be able to use this information in this field at a later time. It'll show up in their profile. You'll be able to filter on it. So you can definitely add fields to memberships or to products to capture that information. So hopefully that helps. Any other questions? Let's see. What can be done if a membership item was added as a product rather than a membership item? Is importing the list of memberships the only option to fix it? Great question. Um, so what's being asked here relates to how you set up your memberships. So it's critical that you set up your memberships under memberships, manage membership items, instead of doing it through the store management, manage products section. Otherwise, the membership list won't populate. It won't count in your tally for doing the dues. If you've accidentally set it up as a product, you will need to manually add all of those people who bought that incorrect membership by going to memberships, manage members, and adding those people manually, either through add cash check member, or if your state allows you to do an import, you'll need to import them to get them on this list and then close that product so nobody else can purchase. That is the only way to do that. If you need some help with that process, just reach out to our support team. Will that custom field grade number be updated when the same person purchases a membership the following year? Yes, as long as you're using the exact same contact property and not creating a new contact property, then it will update as people give you new information. That's why I recommend checking first to see if you already have a contact property for that information, and instead of continually year after year creating a product, contact field that says like homeroom class or grade level. Any other questions? See, I find graduation year is a better field to record. That is a great one to do because that also will help you in figuring out when you can remove contacts from your site. That's a great contact property to add. Thank you, Sandra. Any other questions? All right. Well, if you think of something later, feel free to reach out to our support team. We're happy to help you. And there are tons of help articles also that'll walk you through different pieces of the setup. All right. And grab these QR codes if you need to. And when you sign out of the webinar, you'll be prompted for a very brief survey. I would really appreciate your feedback if you have a moment to give that once you sign off. Thank you so much for joining me, and y'all have a great day.